Okay, there we go.
Yay!
Your phone with your phone. Okay, hello everybody. Truly, we're so glad just to be on here today. This is our impact moments. This is a part of our
Okay. Rose.
and so we have three beautiful women on the well, it was four of us, but I'm talking to them. So three beautiful women online that will be sharing their stories. So we women have been doing great things as far as writing is concerned for ages and for decades. And so we have some of our history makers as well. Like we have oh my God, there's so many of them. Wait a minute, I got the wrong thing up, I think. So, here we go with the extra. But anyway, like Zora Neale Hurston, and then we have, some of those, if you know some, can name them, those ladies that made groundbreaking history.
Maya Angelou.
Maya Angelou, and so many of them. And they wrote about, I think, old Elizabeth. They wrote about their stories and things that happened in their life. And they were all, and they came along in times where, they didn't even want us to learn how to read, let alone write. And so that they came along and they did their thing. And then we have some even amazing authors that are trailblazers even today. If we think about our former first lady, Michelle Obama, who wrote the book Becoming. And then we think about our current Madam Vice President, Kamala Harris, who wrote her book about, I think she has a children's book about superheroes, superheroes. And then she wrote a book about the truth, telling her American history journey. So we have all of these wonderful women that have went before us and have been authors, they've been journalists, they've been all these things. And so we're just so happy to, that we're coming along as well. And so we have these amazing women that are on here today that have written written books and told their stories, whether it's their personal story or something, somebody else's story they're telling, because I believe that authors are always telling a story, whether it's their story or somebody else's story. Because I talk to authors all the time and they tell me about how all of a sudden these voices start talking. And I was like, voices, but they are really telling the stories. And I remember being in a book seminar one time, and a lady was telling me, she was a Caucasian lady, and she was telling us about this story that she was writing, but she actually began to hear this lady talk. And it was set in the time of like a Western kind of, the Western kind of setting and stuff like that. And so she was telling, it was a Black woman's story that she was telling. But she said the woman began to talk to her and she began to write this story. And so she heard it that way. And I know some of us can be like, huh? But you know what? This is what I hear all the time, that they are telling somebody's story. Even myself, with this book I just published, I'm telling stories that are not my story, but they came from the Lord. If the Lord would speak to me, I get up and start writing it. So that's how that went. So I want to start with our guest, Rhonda, and give me your last name, so I don't want to mess it up.
Sure, Mincey, Rhonda
Mincey. And yes. She has a new book out. Tell us a little bit about your books, because you have several, and I went out there and got them, but tell us about your books.
All right. Yeah, so first of all, Denise, thank you so much for coordinating this amazing event, and thank you other ladies, other Denise and Katie. It's just such a tremendous delight to be here. So kudos and props to you for that. So yes, my book is like literally hot off the press as of yesterday. And it's Unbridled Dreams. It is a book that I wrote for women. And Denise, as you said, we all have a story. And so this book sort of chronicles, my journey. And the main premise of this book is to allow women to, first of all, change their mindset, right? We have to change the way we think. Also to achieve their goals, and not just little goals. I'm talking about big dreams, lofty goals. And ultimately, they will live, the best story of their lives. And so, I wrote it to inspire women, to empower women, to equip them, to embolden them. And I strongly believe that this is my gift to the world, my gift not only to women, but to the world, because it's my lessons, my journey, my stepping out on faith, my launching, everything
Hey,
is
okay.
packed into this one little book right here. Unbridled Dreams.
I
And
love that cover. Can you show it again?
yes, 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 yes. So
Oh, how nice.
the
Excellent.
reason, yeah,
Beautiful.
the cover, it just speaks. It so resonates because what it does is it epitomizes and embodies your dreams being unbridled, right? So freedom, liberty, um, just rejoicing, everything that we need to be doing right now, more so than ever, because of course, during this pandemic, a lot of us, we feel stuck, stagnant, don't know what to do, don't know how to move. Some of us are thinking, look, I don't even have time to be trying to dream or do any of that stuff. But there is a difference, right? We have to shift that thing because now more than ever, we have to dream and we need
Yes.
energy, we need vibrancy, we need something that is going to energize us so that we can begin to dream. And I firmly believe that energy is contagious, and just like I feed it off you, you feed it off me, etc. So if we can get the vibes going that yes, we need all of this positivity right now, then I
Yes.
truly think it's going to make a difference for so many of us. So yeah, this is my gift to women. And it's just so exciting that yesterday officially was the launch, through Amazon, as well as, yeah, it's just amazing. So a true journey, a true labor of love. I
Yes.
birthed this book. And by that, I mean, listen, ladies, I actually sat here and I cried.
And you pushed it out like you were in labor.
What? I did.
Yes.
I did. I really did. And I had to call my girlfriend, and she was like, just rub your back. I
Yes.
walked, I paced, I praised, I did all of that because, I said jokingly, but seriously, I knew that I had done what God had me to do.
Yes.
I knew that. And I knew that as it was being released out into the world, that, oh my gosh, so many people were going to truly benefit from it. And so for me, it was just such a humbling and gratifying moment to be able to persevere and to push this thing out so I can give women hope and put promise in their hands that there is a better day, and they can achieve their wildest dreams, whatever they are. And not only can they, I mandate them, I challenge them to do just that.
Good.
Yes, that is amazing. It is so
Yes.
wonderful. And it is so great to when you birth that out, you just feel like a sigh of relief has come. Like, and I've never had a child, so I don't know that story, but I've heard how the labor intensive it is. And
Yes.
then when that the mother does not even remember the pain
Ah,
that she
You
went
don't.
through once the baby has come. It's kind of
yes.
like you kind of forget about that once the baby's here. You got, So anyway, that's amazing. But tell us, you wrote a bunch of books because you wrote The Girl's Guide to Becoming Great.
Yes, 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 yes. So that was the first book that I wrote, and I wrote that, oh my gosh, probably about 7, 8 years now. I can't believe how fast the time has just gone by. And again, it was just something I felt so strongly about, really, um, empowering our girls, letting them realize what their
Yes.
value is, right? I have a
Yeah.
daughter and now she's 30, thank God, I made it through. But a lot of that was just based on my experience, with Christian and trying to get her to walk on the right track and know her worth. And so when I would get asked to speak to different events and schools and nonprofit organizations and whatnot, someone said, you need to put all of this into a book so that you can really reach young girls. And I did, and surprisingly, I probably should not have been surprised because the next thing I know, the book was in a couple of school districts. And so it was just remarkable to walk into a classroom and see one group of 30 girls at one time actually reading my book. And then they would look back and see me, and then they'll look at my picture on the book, and they're like, wait a minute, that's the lady, that's the, how,
How special.
It was so special indeed, to really empower the girls and to hear from them firsthand what they got from it. It just made everything so well worth it. I could see the facilitator because I built a whole program around the book. It just evolved that way. So I could see the facilitator asking the girls questions and the lights going off in their head and they're raising their hands. And so yeah, that was truly fulfilling. A Girl's Guide to Being Great. It's just amazing.
Amen.
And then after that, I did my poetry book. And so I'm a poet and I love poetry. And I think that it is truly a gift, that it can soothe the soul and it just speaks to you when you need it and can inspire you so much. And so I compiled probably all of the poems that I could recall into my book, Poetic Reflections. And again, sometimes I would go back and read some of my own poems and oh my gosh, they would just inspire and encourage me. And I would say, I need that right about now. And I wrote it and I need it. So yes, those are the 3 books that I've written. It's been quite an amazing journey. And then I have a couple of more that I'm working on right now.
Oh, that is amazing.
Amazing.
Because, we need to be inspired. So many times women, if you look, especially if you look at some of the reality TV shows, they're fighting against one another and calling each other all kind of names and all of that kind of stuff. So we need things like this that inspire our women that we are better than that. We are great. We have so much more to offer, especially our little girls, because some of them feel so bad about themselves. Because I've been in the school system as a sub, but Denise is was a teacher. I mean, she's still teaching. But she's now.
I just went to the big kids.
She went to the big kids.
I went to the adults. They big kids.
But we know the journey of how some of them feel about themselves, especially our African American girls. They don't like their hair, or they don't like, they don't like something. Especially my little pretty plus girls. I tell them all the time.
Yes.
They are, because they just don't know. I said, come on in here with your beautiful self. They changing, they come strutting in and putting out. I said, look, that's what I'm saying. Come on in here. Yes. And so you just want to encourage them. And so, they have to find their own the pretty that is within themselves, and they have to find that. And so I'm just so excited about that. So thank you so much, Rhonda, for coming and sharing with us about your masterpieces. So we have so many African American women that are writing books and telling their stories and helping other women out to come through, all kind of tumultuous times and all kind of things that we're building each other up. And that's what we need to do. If we're going to make it, we got to build each other up. And so
we do. It takes a village.
It takes a village. So now we're going to shift and we're going to go to Denise Montgomery, because Denise is a different writer. She writes more fiction, but her fictional stories have such a meaning to them and such a story that, she says, well, Denise, they're not self-help. I said, yes, they are really. If you really dig into them, you can find a lot of stuff that would help other people. So Denise, tell us about your masterpiece.
I'm so glad to be here. First of all, thank you, Denise. This is such an honor and a privilege to be here. Thank you again. I've been writing for as long as I can remember. When I was a child, every summer I would break out with a rash and on my hands, and I would get a big sore in my head. And so my grandmother would put these Michael Jackson gloves on me, and I had to stay in the house. But little did she know, you never know how God sets you up for things. So I would be in the house every summer because I couldn't go outside because my hands would break out. It was like I was allergic to summer. Mm-hmm. So every summer I would be inside. So I started reading, and I would read anything I could get my hands on. And I would get books from the library. But little did I know God was fostering a love for reading and writing in me, because who wants to play with a kid with a big sore in their face and hands? So for years, he kept me in that cocoon long enough to realize, he was just developing a writing in me. So if I had all of the stuff that I wrote when I was little, I would probably be, really way out there by now. But at any rate, I kept writing. And I would say around 2008, I had still been writing, but I started paying attention to the voices. Denise is right. When you hear voices talking in your head. So I started hearing this I don't know nothing about living on a farm. I have no idea what a farm is about. But I started hearing this farmer, and he was telling me about how beautiful his wife is, and about how they live on the farm. But she's a little quirky because she wears ball gowns everywhere. And I was going, oh, that's real nice. I was like, I don't know what this is. And finally, God told me, why don't you start writing down what he's saying? And it became a book. So my first book is a children's book. And I don't know nothing about a farmer. And I know y'all said why they're not black. They wasn't. I knew. Everybody said, well, how do you know they weren't black? I was like, I knew. I just knew. It was like God showed me that too. So this is Farmer Brown and this is Lady Madeline. And their one desire is to have a child. And they're kind of, she's in a ball gown. So they kind of weird and they don't really understand how you go about getting kids. So they seek the advice of wise old Owl. Now, owls can be very mischievous, so he tricks them. And he tells them they have to go through all of these changes. The illustrations are wonderful. So he tells them about all of these changes that they have to go through. And he puts them through all of these episodes and things that they have to go through to finally get the child. But little did they know there was a promise at the end of the story. It's a lively, adventurous story. And I think kids of any age would love it. So Farmer Brown was my first book. So after Farmer Brown, I was going, okay. Somebody else started talking. And I was going, okay. And she started telling me about a cave in Arkansas. And I was going, okay, that's real nice. I didn't know what. And then I was sitting in this very room. This was about around 2010. And God just started telling me, I need you to research about caves in Arkansas. I didn't know nothing about no caves, but I started researching. And it was like when I put the pieces together, the blessing. Now, the blessing is a mystery. If you like fiction, if you like murder, you like intrigue, fast pace, it's also the story of a young lady. Her name is Emily. Emily is in a relationship. She came from a family of dysfunction, and we always marry what we leave. So Emily grows up in a family of dysfunction, and she decides, I got to get away from this. At 16, she moves to Arizona. She meets who she calls the man of her dream, but she ended up just marrying her daddy. And it ends up throughout the story, they end up coming back to Arkansas because there are some secrets. We don't never get away from our secrets. There are some secrets that Emily hasn't dealt with. And her husband, Jeff, they both come back to Arkansas. And then the cave comes in because there are some things going on in the cave, and the story revolves around Emily learning about the secrets, about her father's secrets, and it's very intriguing. It's a murder mystery. I actually took this book and made it into a 2-act play back in 2014. I think it's a great read, and you'll enjoy it if you like suspense and thriller, and you would definitely be surprised at the ending. Time went on and I'm going, okay, so I started, hearing voices again, by this time I'm used to it. And I'm going, okay, Jeff, you just give me a little time to finish. We can talk about this. So my next book is the setup. I based the setup on, I have one of my sisters is deceased, but I had 3 sisters and one of my brothers is deceased now. And I have 2 brothers, and we had a lively childhood, but my grandmother was the matriarch of the family. My grandmother was very strong. She was the thread in the family that kept us together. And I remember all of the things that she would tell me about. And when these characters start coming together, it's Marie and her sister Thelma and their mother. And they live in a fictional town in Mississippi called Claxton, and they go through a lot of changes that involves a bridge. And this book is so amazing because he showed me the bridge first, and I didn't know what a bridge was, but he just showed me this bridge running across this river. And he just kept showing me this bridge for months, and I kept saying, Lord, if you could just show me where the bridge is. So I wrote the book. It's a fictional story of 3 women and how their life changed after the river flooded. Life was never the same. And It's mystery, it's intrigue. I love killing up folks. I'm just gonna be honest with it. I love murder mysteries. So it's a lot of intrigue and murder mysteries and things going back and forth. But if you like a tangled web and then come out at the end, you'll love the setup. And after I finished writing it, this was 2015, I never will forget. My son graduated from college that year. I have a wonderful son. And I told him, I said, okay, we got to go to Mississippi and find this bridge because God had been showing me the bridge for like 3 years. And I knew I would know it when I see it. So me and my son are driving and, he's like, okay, mama, they get used to you when you tell them to do something, they just go along. So we were driving and, excuse me, I still get emotional. When we got to Mississippi, and if you've ever been from Louisiana to Mississippi, you have to cross over this bridge, and it takes you over the Mississippi River. And we went almost to the bridge, and the Lord told me, look to the left. And I looked to the left, and there was my bridge. And I just busted out in this car. My son go, Mama, did I do anything? I'm going, no. But I saw the bridge that I had been seeing for 3 years. And I was going, okay, Lord. So he built the story around that one bridge. Amazing. So God is awesome. And my last book, I won awards for both of these. Reader's favorite. I got 5 stars on this one, and I got 5 stars on the setup. My last book is called I Want to Go. Denise and I were at a conference. We're at a conference in Houston a few years ago, and a publisher came up to me and he said, you haven't written the story that you really need to write. And I was like, okay, whatever. And he says, no, you need to write her story. And all of a sudden, I was back in my mother's living room. And I remembered as a little girl, I wanted to go to the state fair. So this book is called I Want to Go. And it's a true story. I wrote it from a fictional point of view, but it's actually my story. I was 10 years old. At that time, African Americans only had one day that they could go to the fair. And that was the second Monday in October. And this being the end of African American History Month, this book is actually based on African American history. So all I wanted to do was see big text and the Ferris wheel. That was my ideal. Well, it rained the second Tuesday of October. And my grandmother said, she called me Lisa. She said, baby, Lisa, we can't go. Because, she said, it's not colored folks' day. I was like, I don't care, colored, blue, white, it doesn't matter to me. I just want to go to the fair. She said, baby, we can't go. It's not our day. That haunted me. And my sisters came by and hit me in the head. Oh, girl, stop crying. We'll go next year. But to a 10-year-old child, nobody explained to me why we couldn't go. They just kept saying it's not colored day. Well, as time would tell, time went on, and I, of course, realized that we couldn't go because Negroes weren't allowed to go that day. So I took it, and this is Renee, and I put it from a 10-year-old child. And Renee has a sister, and their mother and father, and they live in East Texas. Now, it just wasn't the African Americans in Dallas. There were no African Americans in the state of Texas. We all went on one day, and that was the second Monday in October. So you can imagine how crowded it was on that day. So I took it from the standpoint of them driving in from East Texas to go. It's a wonderful story. It has a lot of historical significance. I bring in a lot of everything that was going on during the 60s. I bring it all into the book. And it's an amazing book. I loved writing and I enjoyed it. It helped me relive all of that. So those are my 4 books. I'm in the process of writing another one. It's going to be a trilogy. Don't ask me when it's going to come out. It's whenever the Lord puts it out. And I'm enjoying writing it. And writing is work, as you guys know. Writing is work. It's not especially with me, it's fiction. It's a little bit more challenging, but I have a very vivid imagination. So I'm just enjoying it. And I just appreciate Denise for giving me this time to share my story. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. I'm just so excited about this because this is such an amazing time just to hear you all explain, you know, how you are birthing these stories, and it's just so it's just amazing. And I'm so thankful for you all taking your time to share it on our impact moments. This is what I'm calling for, our 180 impact, and these are our impact moments. So now I want to go to Elder Katie Newborn. I've read her book as well, and I'm telling you, it's amazing. So Katie, please tell us about your story, because it's a lot. Come on, I'm just so excited.
Thank you. Thank you, first of all, for having me here. And I find it just a privilege to be amongst you great authors, because I never thought of myself as a writer. But because of the call on my life and because of what God kept speaking to me about me in the assignment he gave me through the writing of the book, I had no other choice but to write it. And I tell you, through that obedience, it opened up my life and expanded it in so many aspects, in so many ways, until it's a testament to who he is.
Yes.
Then made it an assignment to me to now share that testament so that others can know, just as he had purpose and destiny and calling for me, with my limitation of thinking of what I could do and what I couldn't do, him making known to me that he had something assigned for me to do that was very much possible in my life. And that is the stem of the name of the book. It came from that concept and that belief and that experience and journey that I was having with God. Mission Possible.
Oh.
Yes, my assignment to let everyone know in this world that you didn't come here by accident or coincidence. You came here with a predestined, determined outcome of assignment that you can fulfill here on this earth. It does require a mandated relationship back to the Lord, to open up and ask and seek him to find out what it is, but you have something unique to you. And because of that, there is nothing about you and nothing that transpires in your life that's not valuable, that's not useful, and that's not beneficial in the hand of God. He'll make you a writer, is what I'm saying. He made me one. So
Yes.
I want you to know that he can make you one. And here I sit with the privilege of these great writers who have wrote multiple books. And I'm still on that assignment to do so, to write additional books myself. But I have been on this task of completing the fulfillment of this assignment that he gave me in writing of Mission Possible. I share some of the experiences where he began to open my life up and caused me to travel the world in ways and places that I had never dreamed I could ever go before. A little girl out of Arkansas, the world opened up like an oyster, and I traveled and saw many, many places that I know without a doubt, if it had not been for God working in my life, I would have never had the opportunity to see. But guess what else I want someone to know? Nor would I have had that opportunity if I had not been obedient to do something that I did not think that I could do, which was to write the vision and make it plain, to write what he said, to do what he had instructed, and to obey the commands that he gave me. I know that it'll be a blessing for someone, for anyone who feel like that they are limited, or they don't know what to do, or they don't know what their purpose are, or they don't know what direction to move in, although I know the purpose, or I don't know what my next move should be, or I'm hesitant. I know what I think I should do, but I don't know, I'm intimidated or afraid to do it. No, this is your season. This is your time. Move.
Yes.
That's the ultimate message in this book. Move. Every little thing, every big thing, every great thing is making a difference. And it'll accomplish that mission that God has given you, because he's going to take it and work it anyway. And you do have to seek him and listen and hear his voice and be instructed by his spirit. But if you move on the things that you are sensing and that you are aware of, and that you may doubt or you may hesitate or wonder, is that me or is that you, or should I? If you're doing it in an obedient heart to be obedient to him, he will work it out and he will lead you directly to where you should be. He led me into Africa multiple times. He led me into Cambodia. He led me into Dominican Republic. He led me into Mexico. He led me into Jerusalem. He led me into China. There was no limit on what he would do once I obeyed and followed the instructions and led by the small increment of direction that he gave me. Nothing is too small to act upon. And I started learning that even the things I was hesitant to withdraw back from because it looked like trouble, that if I stepped and leaned into those, I'd find out that he was leading me with some little silver lining in the midst of that as well, that it was going to come out better on the other side. And so I started, I have a place now in my life where I sit, where I say, you know what? I'm going to take opportunity as it comes. I'm going to accept the doors that open, and I'm going to be fine the doors that close, because I'm being led and I know it. And so that's what Mission Possible is about. It's just giving you a glimpse inside of, if you're obedient to allow God to move you even by small increments, that you're going to end up exactly where he would have you to be. And if you're needing some inspiration and some motivation to kind of get started to actually move, then at the end of the book, I didn't want to leave you hanging. There's an instructive opportunity to meditate on scripture that will give you the opportunity to think about, where am I in life? What should I be doing? What is my next move? And it guides you through a process of documenting what God is telling you in that moment while you're meditating and seeking him while you're reading that scripture. So it's my interactive motivation that's taking place in the book that was written. You're going to get the inspirational stories. You're going to hear about where I've gone and what has happened and the things I've experienced. But I didn't just want you to walk away with a good read. I wanted you to be moved to action. And so I wanted you to put pen to paper and take moments in meditation time with God and to use the scripture as your guide and begin to write your vision, write your plan, write your next move, document your next action, and then move on it. Move on it. If I don't tell you nothing else, move on it. I don't know the outcome. You don't know the outcome. But if you move, you'll find an outcome.
Yes.
It'll lead you somewhere. And that's what I want you to know. And that's what I want you to say. And again, he's moved in my life. He's done such an awesome thing. Many, many doors began to open. I was already kind of going out and speaking in the places that I had traveled to, but he opened another way of international speaking platforms for me to go and share and inspire based on this message. He gave me an opportunity to pilot this program within the Dallas Independent School District, where with young girls, where we had an opportunity to inspire and motivate them, to get them to know that your surroundings don't limitate you. That's just your present state, but your future is in the hand of your vision and your belief and your trust in God, what he's brought you into this earth for. You're not at the end of a thing. You're just at the beginning. If you don't give up and you keep your hope and you keep moving, you're going to be able to accomplish something in your life. And so also we instructed them to write a vision, do a developmental action plan. Everything's got to be done for real now. You don't want to just encourage you and get you excited about it, but you have no action to take after you've gotten the instruction. Now we're going to write your vision. We're going to write your plan. We're going to put down some steps. What should you do next? I know you're in high school, but you got to still prepare. What should be your next move? What should you continue getting education? Should you go for additional skill development? Should you decide that you're going to start and be an entrepreneur? So what do your next step need to be? And if you're going to go to school, what is it going to cost you? And what's the best place to go if you have a specific field of study that you think you would want to be in? So we got very increment and detail with them to really help them pan out a real vision that they could follow through and take action on. And so I thank God for having even had that kind of opportunity. And he just continued to further facilitate development in the ideal and begin to develop me in the concept of value you. The young people, after I dealt with them, I realized they need to know you got a value down inside of you. There really is something that God's put down in you that is worth being exposed and given to the world. And you got to develop it and get it harnessed and present it with impact and influence so you can move in the world the way that he has designed and intended for you to move. And then I began to go into other areas and begin to have a podcast. And so this one move of obedience, this one mission assignment opened so many doors and so many opportunities that it's just not time enough to tell it all here. But I just want you to know through your action to move, and if you need motivation to move, then get the Mission Possible testimony and read it and take the interactive steps that's included in it and begin to move and take action, because it's going to change your life. I guarantee you it's going to change your life. God guarantees that he's going to change your life because he does have an assignment for you.
That is amazing.
Good job.
Y'all, this is so amazing just to hear all of these wonderful stories and these all of this is just so amazing, and what people can have takeaways from it and be able to listen to what's being said, get these books and begin to grow yourself, encourage yourself, and begin to move, as Elder Kay said, begin to move and do what's possible. Your mission is possible with God. I'm telling you, and you can unbridle your dreams. Unbridled dreams. You can unbridle your dreams. And then I know Denise says, well, mine is fiction. But when I think about the blessing, I think about the domestic violence awareness that it can bring. And I think about even with the setup, and I think about those books and those kind of things and all that she can captivate on. And I want to go, it's just a history book. So, it's full of history. It's African-American history, especially Texas African-American history. So it is.
And all of the books are giving you hope. I never left the reader without any hope.
Without any hope. So that is what you want your books to do. I'm just so excited about it. And this is what's funny. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, you didn't bring the books in here, Denise. I'm sitting there thinking, oh, okay.
Well, you got to talk about them anyway.
I'm going to talk about them anyway, because you know what? I got them on a picture, so I will show the picture. Anyway, so my first book was called The Things That Cross My Mind.
Yes.
And it is a poetry book, and it comes from, it came from years of turmoil, years of self-doubt, years of low self-esteem, all of those things. And the Lord began to bless me to write about those things. And he gave it to me in a poetic format. And so I wrote it. And so I had so many poems. So then I actually submitted one of my poems to a contest, and it won. I thought, oh. And then they put it in their book, and I thought, well, surely if they put it in the book, maybe I need to put it in one. That's what I thought to myself. And so that is how my journey began publishing, is putting them in a book. And then I went back and I did an audio book of it. And of course, I named it something different. That's funny. So I named the audio book Love's Reality. So here it is right here. I named it Love's Reality. And the reason why I did that is because the book itself is about 4 facets of love. It's about a love relationship with God. It's about a love relationship with life, a love relationship with your significant other, and then a love relationship about being single, because I'm single. And so I talk about all of those things in this book. And so that's why I named the audio book Love's Reality. That's funny how you go from one to the other, but it's based on the book, The Things That Cross My Mind. And so that's what I did. And I'm telling you, doing that audio book wasn't an easy task. Now I'm going to say that.
No.
Oh my God. I thought, and they kept saying, no, you got to do it over. I said, oh my God. I thought I would just go in, read it, and be done with it. It's a lot of work. And I mean,
if you ladies haven't done it yet, wait till you do an audio book. That ain't no joke. Woo.
Well, I had someone else to narrate mine for me.
Okay. That's the best thing, because that ain't no joke.
Yeah, because I went in trying to do it, and he was fussing. Oh, I got fussed at every time I went in there. And it was funny. There was one particular poem, I just couldn't get it right at all. So he did it for me. So I think there's like 2 poems in there that he actually recorded for me, because it, no matter how much I kept trying to do it, it was a mess. I thought, what in the world is going on? But anyway, he did them, and maybe it's one because I think one of them was more from a male perspective, because I don't know why, but I write from all perspectives. I write from a woman's perspective, and the Lord gives me stuff from a male's perspective. So I know people thinking, well, how can you write that and you're not a man? Well, that's because the Lord gave it to me. I'm having nothing to do with me. And so anyway, that is what I've been doing. And then I'm just releasing my latest book. It is called The Sex, the Lies, and the Soul Ties. And of course, I know people, when you say anything about sex, they go thinking, oh my God. No, I said, Lord, what can I say about this book? And he told me we're going from the pain of silence to the healing from broken chains. And so that is what the book is about. A lot of things people have kept silent over the years. And I'm not telling people to go and confront anybody, because you might just need to take it to the Lord in prayer and let the Lord begin to deliver you and begin to break the chains. Sometimes if we forgive people that have hurt or harm us, then we forgive our forgiving process. So many times people think, if I forgive that person for how they hurt me, then I'm letting them off the hook. No, you're not letting them off the hook. They still got to give an account for what they've done. Because God takes care of them. But what you're doing is you're unleashing the healing process for yourself. And and this was funny, because I've been struggling with getting it out, getting through it, getting it out. And I was in Clubhouse, how I got in there, that's a whole other story. But anyway, so I'm here with these young people, I'm 50-ish. And so these young people in their 20s and 30s, and, and so all their young 20s, I probably want to be half of them's mama. But anyway, they are in there. And so there was a question posed in one of the things, and they began to talk about sexual things. And when they talked about, they weren't talking about, hitting it, or they weren't talking about none of that. They were talking about the things that had been done to them. And so when they began to unravel all of that, the Lord let me know that's the purpose for the book. Because our world is so sex saturated. It's saturated with, and that was never God's intention. Yeah, God created sex, but he created it within the marriage commitment. He didn't create it for it to be a hit, drive-by. He didn't create it for it to be you to be a night deposit. He didn't create it for none of that. That's not what he created it for. It was for intimacy. It was for to procreate, to bring children into the world. All these things that God created for, but it was never for what it has become. And that is the thing. And so this is hopefully that this will help people to get back to what God intended. And that is the purpose for the book. And hopefully it will heal some hearts and break some chains so that they can be free from that. Because a lot of times some of these things that were done in silence is what has caused them to act out in various other ways publicly. And so, and they become, addicted. All kind of things happen because you're trying to deal with this pain of silence. And sometimes we just got to get it out. And so if that means you just take it to the Lord in prayer, I'm not saying go confront nobody. That's not what we're talking about now. If the Lord tell you do that, then do that. But now don't, Denise ain't saying do that. That's what I'm saying. So anyway, that is what that book is about. And then of course, I wrote a children's book because, I was in there with the kids at school and they couldn't count and that was vexing my spirit. And I said, Lord Jesus, what are we going to do? Not all the kids, but some of them. And so the Lord gave me Meet the Coins. And so I'm writing this little book. It's a children's book. It's called Meet the Coins. And this is funny because Denise was like, Denise, how is Blinky? How's the ATM machine talking about the coins when the ATM machine can't receive the coin? I said, I don't know, but that's how the Lord gave it to me. So I started writing about Blinky is telling the story about his friends, the coins. But there's a moral to the story because Blinky, no, he can't receive coins in his system, but they're still his friends. So yet, although he can't receive them, he still is friends with somebody that he can't, do business with, I guess is what we could say. And so that is the thing. And he talks about them. And so he gives an explanation for them and they build upon them. They have games in and stuff like that. And so then it's bringing me to my, to the next one, which is it's not out yet, but does that Meet the Coins? Oh no, we have it in Spanish. So it is the Spanish version to that book as well. And then I have another book coming out and it's called From Coins to Banknotes. And so we're introducing we call them banknotes because that's what really they're called. And then of course we call them the bills when we think about dollar bills and things like that. So it's going to teach children about making that transformation from coins, them saving coins and then taking them to the bank and all that. So it's a cute, so it's a 7-book series actually. So we're gonna go through savings, investing, and all of those kind of things and take them through Money Matters. And so those are my projects that I'm working on. And then I had a project called Say Ye, and Say Ye was just supposed to be about my t-shirt line. And so I was just so now the Lord just said, I was sitting there, he said, no, you're not gonna do that. We're gonna change that. I said, huh? I got to change it. So anyway, we're changing that. And so that's going to become a devotional. And so that's what that's about. And then, of course, my other project is called Opposite Roles. And that is really my story. I'm going to tell it from a fictional standpoint, but it is a true story for me of being in a place where as a teenager and having to change roles with my mother. Because I became the caretaker and she became the person I cared for versus it being the opposite thing. So I'm calling it Opposite Roles. And so hopefully by the end of the year, that'll be out. I'm not promising that no time soon, but hopefully by the end of the year, that will be out. And that will be actually my first novel. And so that'll be interesting to see because Sex, Lies, and Soul Ties is written from a poetic expression, a poetic format as well. But they're short stories with poetic infusion. That's what I call them.
Well, Denise, is everybody's book? Does everybody have their book available on Amazon? So Katie, can you give your website? Or Rhonda?
Yes.
Can you give your website?
Oh, yes. RhondaMincey.com. Rhonda, MINCEY.com. And the link takes them straight to Amazon.
Okay.
What about you, Katie?
Yes, I have knministries.us. And yes, the book is available on Amazon, and there's a link on my website to Amazon to get the book. It's also on my Instagram, Katie Newborn on Instagram, and you can find a link to me there.
My website is DeniseMontgomery.org, and as they've said, my books, all of the books are on there. My Facebook page is my name. If you need to get in touch with me, I'm Inspired Author 13@gmail.com. Inspired Author 13@gmail.com. And I would love to hear your comments and see what you think. And go to my website and take a look and let me know what you do. I also do a blog on my website. that I'm trying to keep in touch with. It's just so much going on. But I do a blog about concepts that the Lord gives me, and I love, I welcome your comments.
Thank you. And so let's see. Oh, I do have one. Mine is denisebryson.com. And so if you go there, and it's also hooked with my merchandise, Flatus merchandise. Flatus means inspiring. That is what that word means. And so it's inspiring merchandise is what it is. And that's also my publishing company. I started that for myself to publish my books through there. And so that is what I do for that. So, but you can go to denisebryson.com and see all my books there. And of course, they're on Amazon. And then I'm getting the rest of them put up there as well. And then also they're on another website with Authors Marketing Guild, which is
Yes.
Book 2 bookstore, and so we go through there as well, and that's a wonderful program for all of you.
It really is.
Inspiring authors that you may want to, you need some help. You can go there and find you some help with different things, because one thing about publishing, you must have a good editor.
Yes.
A good editor, please. I mean, and even after they've done the editing, you need to go back and read it one more time. I'm telling you.
Can we reiterate that? Yes.
You have to keep reading it. I'm telling you, I was trying to publish mine and they formatted it, and then I said, oh my God, there's an error. So I had to go back through it and so I'm telling you, it was very frustrating. But anyway, it's worth it. It's worth it. So make sure that you have a good editor, you have a good book cover, somebody do you a good book cover, do that, and all of those things. And so it's just so amazing. And get in some book awards and things like that, so to promote your books and get people to, sometimes it's hard to get people to write your review, but anyway, you can get reviews done and do all of that stuff. So we want to inspire all our African-American men and women, because there's a lot of men, and hopefully I'll get some men on here to do the same. And give me somebody to, when I do the men, I really want to have a male host. That's what I really want to do. So anyway, I'll figure that out. I like the men talking to the men. That, it's just the way I like it. But anyway, I can be in the background with my thing off. Anyway, so that's just how I want to do that. So I'll get enough, because I know your husband, Rhonda, writes. I saw that, and he's an author as well. So I saw that.
Really?
Yes.
What is his name, Rhonda?
Douglas.
Okay, and what type of writing does he do?
He does Christian writing, inspirational writing, ministry work, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, so I said I got him on my radar to help, so maybe that'd be something to help. And then I got another man that I just interviewed myself, and he's wrote a book about wisdom, so I'm gonna contact him. And so I would love to do some male writers as well, so we can get, because we want to promote our men as well as the women, because we know the women are gonna get in there and get stuff done, but we have men doing amazing things as well, and so we don't ever want to leave that out. And so I'm just so thankful for each and every one of you for joining me today. This has been an amazing time, and I've been so excited I was just so excited about it. I was just excited all day about it. But anyway, and so all my endeavors to try to get things right, I looked over and said, you don't have none of them books over here, Denise.
Denise, do we have any questions? Does anybody have any questions?
I would like to say to Denise and everyone that, this has really been powerful. As I was sitting here observing and listening to everybody speak, what I heard the Lord saying to me about it all is that what he has strategically done, even in the midst of this, is how he has drawn in and displayed and showed how you can use all facets of things. He showed where you have an aspect where you're going to look and dab into history. You have an aspect where you're looking into the brokenness when it came to the sex. You have unbridled dreams, and you're being pushed to know that your mission is possible. In this, he touched on aspects of every area that a person could be challenged in or needed inspiration or encouragement in, and you can receive it having just been here on this Impact 180 moment. So thank you again for this opportunity. Thank you for seeing and hearing what God is saying and moving and doing. He is doing things new and different in this season.
Yes, he is.
And things are coming forth in different formats and ways. And I haven't written my second book yet, but he has me in shelter trying to get it done. Took me 5 years to get this one out, so it might be 5 years later for the next one come.
It won't be Katie.
He called me an author. I am that. I don't deny it anymore. I receive it. I operate in it. I walk in it. But I walk in the multifacetedness of what he says about men. So I always want somebody to hear that and to know that walk in the multifaceted.
I don't think it'll be 5 years. I don't think it'll be
I don't
5
think it
years.
will be. I don't think it will be either. I'll move a lot faster on this. I'm gonna be trying to be a lot more obedient, a lot quicker. Because I believe what he says about me now. I accept what he says about me now. And
Yes.
and I walk in it. I don't just believe it anymore. I've actually graduated to a state where I walk in it. And I do want somebody to hear that. I walk in it now. I started moving and now I'm walking in it. I'm not just moving anymore. Now I'm walking in what he says and I'm walking into what he said, what he's making available. And I'm moving into the things that he said that I could do, be, and become. And I just want somebody to know that. And I didn't want that to be missed in how he weaved this thing together on today. Yeah. And he'll take care of your history. He'll motivate you from that perspective. He'll heal the brokenness. He'll unbridle those dreams that you have hidden and buried away, of giving up on or quit. Yes. And he lets you know that you do have a mission. You're not left out. You're not forgotten about. You're not qualified or equipped or capable of being able to have a mission. You have one. And yours is unique. Yes. It won't look like anybody else's and it won't be anybody else's. It will be yours. But walk in it. Yeah.
I hope that this time encourages some young person out there or some person that thinks I can't write a book. I hope that this time, looking at the four of us, nothing, we're no special, but I hope that we inspire some young person to say, oh, dang, I do need to sit down and finish writing that book or even start. Because all you need to do, people ask me all the time, well, Denise, how do you write? You get a pen and you get a paper and you write. And God will give you the download, but you have to be careful that you listen to what he's saying, because all of it is inspired by God. Fiction, nonfiction, all of it is inspired by God, and it comes together. But you just have to be willing and obedient to sit down and say, I'm going to do it. Absolutely. And it will come together. You just have to believe you can do
it. And Denise, can I say one more little nugget? Yes. The other thing is too that I want folks to know about this thing. See, God had orchestrated this, because I have encountered and met and interacted with each one of these young ladies on different formats and forms other than authors and writing. Our lives cross paths at different places in different ways. All the time, God knowing this predetermined time and hour would happen, and us knowing nothing else about one another other than we had the encounters we had and the moments we had then, that has now led us to this day. And I just want somebody to know that's those little things I'm talking about, that God wastes nothing. Nothing is wasted about your life. Nothing is wasted about you. Nothing is unqualified about you in the hand of God. He equips and justifies and qualifies it all. Just move. Move. I really want to get that. Just move. Start just moving. Something's going to happen. Something is going to happen with God.
And the other thing I want to look, and Rhonda, please say something else if you want to. The other path that is taking you on, like you wrote the book, and look at all the other things that have spiraled from it. Yes. And so like Denise in her place, Katie and her speaking engagements, and Rhonda, your coaching.
Yeah, it's just amazing. From the book, now I have a workbook from this book, and then I'm doing the coaching as well. And so it's continuing to evolve, and it's just so beautiful, the journal to accompany the book, right? So it's become a whole little masterpiece that God has woven together from one idea, from one concept, as Katie said, that I was obedient in. So you never know where it's going to lead. You just do the thing. That's it. Just do the thing, right?
Just get up and do it.
Just do it. Yes, absolutely.
Don't procrastinate. Just do it.
Yeah, I want to encourage somebody that feels like, well, I'm not a good writer. Let me tell you. I'm gonna raise my hand right here. Denise is a math person. I was a math student. I was a business student, science, all of those things. English was not my best subject. It was not. But I was creative. And I'm telling you, even in college, they said, you are going to make a good short story writer because you're creative. But that was in the midst of all those run-on sentences and all of that kind of stuff on my paper, and all those red ink on my paper from them chopping it up from me writing it, believe me. But this is the outcome of it. I had such a creativity when I wrote the paper. It might have not been grammatically correct, but it was creative. And so from that is what I got out of that. And so I just want you to know, and I struggled with that for years. And I think I was in Africa, we were in Africa and Kenya, and I was seeing one of the young ladies that goes to our church, and I was talking about my writing. She said, well, that's what editors are for. And she looked at me like, she said it like, duh. That's what editors are for. So write it. A lot of young people, you journal. Them journals is probably a book. They probably are a book.
Yes.
And so they're about your story. And so all of these things can be turned into something else. And then you just got to figure out how to promote it. Like I've said, and I figured out how to promote it. Promote Sex, Lies, and Souls Ties. I've got a vision for it. We're gonna do I'm doing a 10-week thing, and I'm gonna talk about it. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to pray that some chains be broken. And we're going to pray that some silence, the pain of the silence will leave and your chains will be broken. But this is what we're going to do, because this is what we have to do to make sure that what the vision God has given us will come to fruition, and it will do what it's set out to do. It's what God has given us to do. And when I talk about, I'm telling you, so what I want somebody to be encouraged about is the fact that, that, you maybe you can't. Maybe you can't, oh Lord, this falling here. Maybe you can't, you're not a good writer, but that's okay. It is okay. Do your part and give it to a good editor, and find a good one, because all of them ain't good, but find a good editor, and you might have to go through 1 or 2 or 3 before you find that person. Like now, it's a young lady on here that she's in silent, of course, but she's on our board at 180 Impact, Elder Rita Timberlake, and she is an excellent editor. She edits a lot of my stuff. She be fussing. She say something to me, I be getting offended. Help me, Lord. But anyway, she does a great job at it, and so I'm so thankful for her, because she's done some things for me, and I'm so thankful for her. But anyway, I told her she need to make that into a business. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Anyway, she really does, because that could be some good income coming in for her. But anyway, I just so thankful for you all's time today.
Thank you for allowing it.
Your time, but thank you so much for your time and sharing your masterpieces with us and all of that. And so it's just amazing. So I hope somebody will look on this and first of all, buy the books. Okay, we're in the business, we're selling books. We're not giving them away. We are selling books. And so we need you to go out and purchase them and read them, because that's what we wrote them for. We went through all of that for that reason. And you saw my signs. Okay, so
Denise forgot her books, y'all.
Yeah, but I got my signs behind me. And so, but go and buy the books. Bless these women of God right here, and bless them and buy their books, and then give them some good feedback. Go out there and write a 5-star review for them. Do that. Let's do that. Let's help one another out, women. Yes. And men, you can do it. Read our books too, because they not women gender all. These are about anybody got unbridled dreams. Anybody, all people have a mission possible, and you can read Denise's books and find out, a whole bunch of stuff that, it's a whole lot in there unpacking. And then of course, mine is written from both perspectives, both male and female perspectives. I'm not male bashing. We just telling the truth. That's what we do. So anyway, we thank God for each and every one of you and taking your time. And we pray that everything, and that the Lord will bless each one of these books to be bestsellers. I want them to be bestsellers on the New York Stock Exchange, on the New York bestseller list. Yeah, let's have that. Let's believe that. We shall have what we say. That's what I believe. Yes. And so anyway, continue to keep me blessed. And thank you so much for joining me here today. And I've just been excited about it.
Thank you, Denise.
180 Impact Moment. God bless you all.
God bless you.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Nice meeting you, Rhonda.
You as well, Denise. We'll talk, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay now. Bye-bye.